have you ever wondered why some people just seem to build wealth so effortlessly while the rest of us are struggling? Well, I'm going to let you in on something. It's not about luck, and it's not even about having a high-paying job. It's about their mindset. Today, we're going to break down how you can install what's basically a wealth operating system right inside your own brain.
Just let that sink in for a second. We're all taught that wealth comes from the outside, right? A fancy job, a lucky break, maybe you inherit it. But what if the real key isn't external at all? What if it's all about the internal software that you're running?
That's the big idea right there. Wealth isn't some secret club you're not invited to. It's an operating system. People who build wealth don't just manage money differently, they actually perceive the entire world differently. And you know what the best part is? That operating system, it can be installed.
So, how do we actually do this installation? We're going to walk through it step by step. First, we'll rewire your core beliefs. Then we'll learn to master time and consistency. After that, we'll see how to use money as fuel, not just for spending. Then we'll reframe risk and failure. And finally, we'll talk about the ultimate goal, who you become in the process.
Okay, let's dive right into pillar number 1. This is the absolute foundation. These are the beliefs that are driving every single financial decision you make, whether you even realize it or not.
So this comes from the amazing work of psychologist Carol Dweck. A fixed mindset tells you your talents and your smarts are just set in stone. Every situation becomes this test where you have to prove how smart you are, so you avoid challenges. But a growth mindset, that's the belief that your abilities can be developed through hard work. Challenges aren't threats, they're actually opportunities to get better. This right here is the mindset that lets people thrive.
Now, this idea appears perfectly with the last one. A scarcity mindset is rooted in this belief that there's a limited pie, right? And you have to fight and claw for your slice. It just creates this endless cycle of anxiety. An abundance mindset, on the other hand, believes that the pie can get bigger, that we can create new opportunities. This lets you see other people's success as inspiration, not as a threat to your own.
And this gets to a really crucial point. You can't become what you resent. If deep down you believe that all wealthy people are evil, you're going to unconsciously sabotage any chance you have of building wealth yourself. But think about it this way. Most wealth is created by solving problems for people, by creating value. The phone in your hand, the apps you use, they all exist because an entrepreneur saw a problem and built a solution at scale.
All right, let's move on to our second pillar. See, once your beliefs are starting to align, you've got to master the most powerful force in all of finance. And it's a force that's actually more valuable than money itself.
You've probably heard of compound interest, but it's so powerful it's worth saying again. Albert Einstein wasn't kidding when he called it the eighth wonder of the world. It's basically interest earning interest on itself. The best way to think about it is like a tiny snowball at the top of a very, very long hill. At first, it's not much, but the longer it rolls, the more snow it picks up, and it starts growing faster and faster. That's exactly what time does for your money.
Now, let's see this in action, because the numbers are wild. So meet Sarah. She starts investing just $200 a month at age 25. By the time she's 65, she's put in about 96 grand of her own money, and it's grown to over $500,000. Now look at Jake. He invests the exact same amount, $200 a month, but he waits until he's 35 to start. He actually contributes less money overall, but his final nest egg is less than half of Sarah's. That 10-year delay absolutely crushed him. That's the difference right there, $283,000. I mean, that is the price tag of a 10-year delay. It's all about consistency over a long, long time. As the famous investor Charlie Munger said, you just have to slug it out 1 inch at a time, day by day. And you know what? This isn't just about money. Your skills compound in the exact same way. Practice something for 15 minutes a day, and in a decade, you'll be a world-class expert.
Okay, pillar 3. This one is about a massive, fundamental shift in your relationship with money. You've got to stop seeing it as something to just hoard or spend. You need to start seeing it as a tool, as fuel.
This quote from Alex Hormozy just absolutely nails it. For most people, what's money for? It's for buying stuff or entertainment, distractions. But people with the wealth mindset see money as a tool for leverage, a tool to buy back their most valuable asset, which is time, and a tool to invest in the one thing that will make even more money, their own skills.
Let's break this down visually. On the left, you see the employee mindset, the typical spending pattern. A huge chunk of money goes to stuff and paying off debt from buying more stuff. This is the result of just trading your time for money. But on the right, you see the wealth mindset in action. Here, money is used to buy back time, maybe by hiring help or using services. It's also deployed to invest in skills and build assets that will generate even more money, even when you're sleeping.
So, before you rush out to invest in the S&P 500, Alex Hormozy has some advice. invest in the SME 500 first. Your own skills. Why? Because your skills are the engine that actually produces the capital you need to invest in the first place. You can spend 20 bucks on a book and learn in a few hours what took an expert 20 years to figure out. I mean, you can't beat that return on investment. And that brings us to our final pillar, which tackles what is probably the single biggest mental roadblock for most people. It's that deep, paralyzing fear of risk and, failure. And this just illustrates the huge disconnect perfectly. Our entire education system trains us to believe that getting a 50% is a catastrophic failure. It's an F. But in the world of business and investing, if you're right half the time, you could be unbelievably successful. Failure isn't a final grade on your report card. It's just data you can learn from.
Mark Cuban's quote really drives this point home. Building wealth isn't about trying to be perfect and avoid all mistakes. It's about taking smart, calculated risks, learning from the ones that don't pan out, and just keep swinging until you get that one big hit. Seriously, the failures don't even matter if that one success is big enough to change everything.
So, how do we actually put this into practice? We can borrow another idea from Carol Dweck, the power of not yet. When you fail at something, tell yourself, I haven't failed, I just haven't succeeded yet. This simple little reframe changes everything. It turns a dead end into a learning curve. It makes a setback a stepping stone forward, not some final judgment on who you are.
So, we've rewired our beliefs, learned to master time, reframed money as fuel, and changed our relationship with failure. But what's the real endgame here? What's it all for? Well, it's probably not what you think.
The money is just the scoreboard. That's all it is. The real prize is the person you have to become to achieve that level of success. The discipline you build, the patience, the resilience, the vision, that's the real wealth. And that's something that no one can ever take away from you. Wealth is just the reflection of the value you've created and the person you've become along the way.
I want to leave you with this one last really powerful idea. Think about your inner world, your mindset, your habits, your beliefs. Think of it all as a thermostat. Right now, that thermostat is perfectly, and I mean perfectly, set to maintain your current financial temperature.
So if you want to change the temperature in the room, if you want to change your net worth, you can't just wish for it. You have to walk over and change the setting on the thermostat. You have to change yourself. So the only question left is, are you ready to install that new operating system? Are you ready to upgrade?